Water quality is a major concern in India, which is why water purifiers have become so important today. Livepure is a leading brand in this space, and we are at its manufacturing facility near Delhi. Today, we have with us Mr. Rakesh Kaul, who is the managing director and CEO of the company. He will be taking us through journey of Livpure as well as where Livpure stands in the market and how it stands out from the competition. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
How do you describe the current state of India's water purifier market? Where do you see Livpure in the future?
I think as far as the current state of Indian water purifier market is concerned, there's been a healthy growth of 7 to 10% for the last 3-4 years. Though the penetration levels still remain low at around 7%, urban contributing to 12 to 15% and rural 3 to 4%. So there's obviously enough headroom for growth in this category. And I see that, given the quality of the water across India, the need for electrical water purifier is very much relevant for Indian households. And I believe that over a period of a time, the penetration will touch double digits and move into the vicinity of around 15% in another 4 to 5 years. To that extent, I believe that the future of Indian water purifier market sounds good at this point of time.
So, what are the growth areas or as well as the challenges that the brand is facing?
So I think as far as the challenges is concerned, it's not only the brand, I think it's at the industry level. I think the industry has been largely facing challenges on a couple of areas. As far as the product challenges are concerned, the challenges around the quality of the water available across India, which is different from different places. At times, even within the same district, we have different quality of water. So obviously, given the fact that the quality of the water changes from place to place, it becomes imperative that, how do you purify it as such? So reverse osmosis became a gold standard for, clearing all the impurities and also bringing the TDS down, as far as also removing the chemical and impurities like arsenic and lead or any other such heavy metals from whole. So the industry challenges from a perspective that how they keep on bringing uniform solutions to water purifiers across the country. And as far as the other challenges are concerned, is the industry is grappling with two primary challenges, which is of course one is affordability, how the product is made more affordable over a period of time, and how penetration increases from the current 7% only. And the second point is a challenge in this industry is total cost of ownership. Given the fact that the water purifier as a product requires consistent service over a period of a time, because of the usage of the consumables and the quality of the water which goes through those filters. So the total cost of ownership at time becomes more than the acquisition cost within 3 years only. So I think that's one of the challenge areas which faces. So these are the industry challenges. As far as the product, as far as the consumer challenge is concerned, today the consumer is grappling with the fact that whether the kind of water which he is drinking is safe to drink, because there are a plethora of brands with conflicting claims about the technology which they are using. Consumer is not very sure as to how the brands are giving safe and quality water, so to say. I think these are the larger challenges which the various industry, brand and consumers are facing today.
So one of the products AIoT, and it has been built as the India's first AIoT water purifier. I want to know about that particular product and which are the other emerging technologies that you're currently working on.
So I think given the fact that AI and IoT, which is connected appliances, are gaining impressive ground across categories in India today. Water purifier was one category which was probably the last one to be a part of this AI thrust. Today, when we launched this, I think one of the bigger challenges, what we said, was consumer truth and consumer transparency. We saw that, many of the brands competing in this space normally go across to the consumers and start asking for annual maintenance contract, change of filters, at times when the consumers may or may not need them as such. So the consumer being, ignorant of the fact that whether is the filters present inside the water purifiers are to be replaced or not, tends of giving up money. So there is no transparency around it, the fact. So a lot of time a fear factor was also involved, that the consumer was given to know, understand from the technicians that look, this water purifier is not fit to consume, so to say. So I think we brought in this product primarily to reveal two important consumer truths. For them, one was whether this water is actually giving you an output of quality of water. So which was an input TDS, so that which was the incoming water, what was the quality of that water, what were the total dissolved solvents in the water, and the water when it actually gets purified, what was the TDS or the output TDS, which was the water consumed. So consumer got a very fair idea that the kind of water which he is drinking. Second, it has real-time filter indicators for all the filters used, which gives virtually a power in the hands of the consumer to decide, and nobody can actually mislead the consumer to understand when his consumables are to be replaced, depending on the usage of the water. Now, if you are a small family of 4 or 2 versus a family of 8 versus the consumption of water which you take versus the quality of the water which you use, depending on these factors, the filter demonstrates and measures when it is ready to be replaced. So again, the consumer, depending on these factors, may tend to, the filter may go bad in 6 months, 2 years and 2.5 years as well, but the power is in the hands of the consumer. So it's called predictive maintenance. So I think these were some of the revolutionary features which we brought into the product. I think IoT and the AI has helped us in reaching out to the consumers so that there is more transparency about the usage of the filters and when they need to be replaced actually.
So, are there any other emerging technologies that you're working on?
Yes, so for example, I think if you see there is a lot of challenge around the groundwater quality today in India. So earlier there were heavy metals present, total dissolved solvent was one challenge, then there was the hardness of the water as you go from one place to the another. Increasingly what we are seeing, the groundwater is infested with microplastics. We are also seeing traces of uranium being seen in many places. We are also seeing a lot of fluoride content in the water across certain places in India as well. So I think so we are about to launch a product called Allura Ultra, which will take care of two things primarily. As you know, majority of the reverse osmosis have a tendency to discard water to the extent of almost 60 to 70%. And the BIS norms came in 2024 November, which mandated that the water purifier cannot waste more than 60% of the water. So 40% was a norm, that 40% recovery has to happen from a impurified water to a purified water. Here at Livepure, we just do not stick to 40%. We today have a high recovery membrane. I'm one of the earliest innovators in this place where our membrane has the capacity to recover almost 70% of the water, which means water which is such a precious commodity we are able to save to that extent. So this is one of the technology, along with as I told you that our membrane, high recovery membrane, along with the technology in this newly launched product, will be able to remove microplastics, will be able to remove traces of uranium as well, and we had the requisite certifications to prove that. So I think, so as a brand, we continuously invest in technology, we continuously invest in areas where we feel that there is a need for the consumer to be told about and solve his or her needs as such. So I think this is the latest introduction which is just about to hit the markets as such.
So, we have been through the factory visit and we have seen many of your products in the making. What's the total production capacity that Livepure has?
So we are doing pretty well in terms of production as such. So I think this plant has the capacity in full steam.
How about sourcing components? Are they sources or from abroad?
So if you see, as far as domestic components or the total water purifier is concerned, today we have reached a domestic indigenization to the level of 82%. So only 18% of the components are still imported. So we are one of the most backward integrated water purifier companies in the country, so to say. So we have a backward integration to the tune of 83 to 84%, which means most of the components are made within this factory only, and it's only 60 to 18% which are still outsourced. And so over a period of a time, import substitution has been replaced by domestic components, and as time goes by, we have ensured that in order to maintain the quality control, in order to maintain the standard of the water purifier across, we have indigenized majority of the products in-house. and that has helped us to retaining the quality of the water purifier across our entire range, so to say.
So how do you ensure quality control of all this manufacturing?
So of course, as I said, one of these areas is indigenization of the components. So virtually, as I told you, more than 85%, around 85% of our components within the water purifiers are made within this factory. So to that extent, once you have standardization of components across all your water purifier, so your quality standards improve because you have a similar set of components which are used across water purifiers. And then since they are made in-house, so they've all passed through the stringent quality standards, which is a part of our quality motto, basically in terms of TQM, which is total quality management. And so indigenization plus raising the quality standards to the level of Kaizen or TQM has helped us in maintaining the kind of quality standards which a consumer would expect out of Livepure.
So moving from production to the servicing, what kind of servicing can a customer expect once they purchase one of these products?
So I think over a period of a time, I think one of the biggest challenges in a country like India to operate a category which requires after sales service to build a service infrastructure. I'm mighty pleased and proud to say that today in India we have service enabled in 19,000 pin codes. So India has around 20,000 pin codes, so we are almost enabled at 98% of India today. We have more than 2,500 feet on street technicians across the country who are able to be at the beck and call of the consumers as such. We have more than 150 engineers on our roles at 2,500 technicians which are on the franchisee roles. The total count of franchisee across these 19,000 pin codes today is more than 1,200 franchisees. So to that extent, our promise to the consumer is that within city limits, we'll install or repair within 24 hours, and up-country goes to a maximum of 48 to 68 hours, 60 hours. So that's our consumer promise as far as installation of the product is concerned, or the breakdown or repair service is concerned. So we maintain that promise across the country. And
so recently, there has been news as for Livepure starting stores in wherein consumers can try and test the products. So, what are the goals that have you set for these stores?
So I think Livepure, as a part of the diversification program, we always had this feeling that since we're into wellness space and water purifier being a kitchen product, we always felt that there was a very natural extension of the brand to enter into the larger kitchen appliance category. And within a very short span of time of 2 years today, we command more than 6 to 7% market share in the chimney segment. And since we launched many models, we launched tech-enabled products, we launched voice chimneys, which can understand 5 different languages and 5 different tonalities. We launched autonomous chimneys which can sense the smoke and accordingly automate the speed of the chimney accordingly. So we had so many of these innovations in place. So obviously, for consumers to experience these innovations, it was very relevant for us to create an experience out of these products. So hence we decided that along with our strengths, because we are an omni-channel brand, and for omni-channel presence, given the kind of variety of strengths which we had in our water purifiers and larger kitchen appliances, we had done a pan-India rollout and started doing a pan-India rollout of exclusive business outlets, which are primarily divided into 2. So a certain size of outlet which is above 500 is called a Livepure Smart Homes, and a size of 200 to 300, since India has smaller retailer stores as well, is called a studio. And we want a massive expansion space. So by the end of June, we'll have a combination of around 30 stores. And by the end of the year, we need to have a combination of 150 to 160 stores. The idea behind these exclusive business outlets is to give the consumers the look and feel of our products, the range of the products. Given the fact that the existing retailers have paucity of the space, they could not have kept such a large range of products and such an innovative range of products. So it was very relevant for us to create our own modern trade, so to say. And hence, we believed we had the strength and the range to be demonstrated to the customers. And I think given the experience what these initial outlets are giving to the consumers, we are very hopeful that this kind of an experience will lend a much more higher visibility to the brand and also connect with the consumers in a more stronger fashion.
So are these stores only located in cities, or are they planned for other areas also?
So I think the whole idea is to be present. The plan is basically 3-year plan is to roll out in 500 stores. And for us, I think we are very democratic in our approach as far as our choice of cities is concerned. We're not really specific that we are to be in urban centers or we are to be in tier 1 cities. We've been democratic in the sense. So we have a store in Anantnag in Kashmir. We have one store in Imphal in Northeast. We have one store way below in South. We have one store in Gujarat and Vadodara. So we are all over the places. So it's not necessarily that we have a specific city strategy. We are a democratic brand. Since we are present in 19,000 pin codes as far as service is concerned, we believe that our EBOs have also need to be democratic in that sense, that their presence needs to be diversified as well.
From a customer standpoint, you must be receiving a lot of feedback, be even through the data that's coming from these AIoT purifiers also. So how do you consider this feedback and how do you act upon them?
Yeah, of course. I mean, sales, if you know, one of our leading businesses is subscription business, where we install almost 20 to 22,000 water purifiers on subscription across India in 26 cities. Those are all IoT machines, and those are all, they have a lot of diagnostics in terms of what is the water consumption by a consumer, what times he drinks, what kind of a quality of the water is he drinking, what is the TDS. So I think a lot of data which can help us in, for giving better services to the consumer in future. We can use that data in terms of how we are able to demonstrate different kinds of products. For example, in certain areas, we suddenly feel that there's a demand for alkaline water. So we recently introduced an alkaline version also. So this is all based on the usage of the water and the consumer feedback which comes from time to time through these subscription machines. So I think to that extent, the IoT and the connectedness of these smart appliances will go a long way in helping us to understand the usage of consumer, and also because of that usage, what are the other areas where the consumer needs more focus or more help. I think as a brand, we stand to gain more out of it in terms of offering better value to the consumer.
Brand has launched subscription-based service also. So have you seen any change in adoption as well as loyalty from customers because of this?
So one of the beautiful things about subscription business is that, since the total cost of ownership was always a challenge in the water purifier category, we wanted to resolve this problem. One was total cost of ownership. The second was a huge plethora of more than 500, 600 brands of jar water today in India across, which itself is 4 to 5 billion water. So as we are talking, we really don't know. They all call themselves mineral water brands, but we really don't know the source of water. So the consumer is getting misled. And also a family of 4 would almost spend 1,000 to 1,200 rupees per month. And then their privacy would be intrude. The quality of the water is not known. And hygiene is an issue. Intrusion into your space is an issue time and again. And so subscription resolve that both total cost of ownership and also the quality of the water which they are drinking. And to that extent, I think we've been able to solve the problems to consumers.
What would you say to a prospective customer who is deciding between you and other brands? What would be your pitch?
I think, of course, when it comes to subscription, we can tell them, no questions asked, don't pay us any money, just install the machine, leave all the worries to us. Forget about maintenance, forget about changing of the filters. Everything is on us. We will not intrude into your space. We'll only come when we'll understand that there's a problem, your filter's going bad, we'll call you, we'll do an outbound calling, fix up a time. So this is complete. In subscription, there's a complete engagement between the product and the consumer and the organization. So I think, it gives us a lot of opportunity to interact with the consumer. So I think that's the first difference which unlike a only product company will offer is where they sell the product and forget it. Even in case of where we do the product sales, we launch India's revolutionary first time where we offer a 30 months free maintenance free service, which means everything is on us. You change filters, you want to change a motor, pump, plastic parts, whatever, we'll take care of it. So to that extent, we have virtually taken over the consumer worries completely, whether you use a subscription machine or whether you use an embedded service product. And I think that's a that's a big differentiation between us and the other brands.
As for the broader portfolio of products that you have, what would be your pitch? What a customer can expect when they are purchasing a Livepure product?
So I think we would like to be known as, we are a wellness brand. We would be like to known as a brand who made a meaningful impact in the lives of the consumers in the kitchen space, particularly. And we want to be a player of relevance in the home automation space, in the overall home space, where we believe, with the advent of automation, we may have a role to play in future through the launches of our various products in future as well. Whether it's air cooling, whether it's air purification, these are devices where we'll be able to connect with our consumers. We also are sleep products like mattresses and home furnishings as well. So I think the overall home space and the overall wellness space is what Livepure would like to carve a brand identity for itself in the coming years.